Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today on a point of order related to my private member's motion M167. As you'll recall, this motion instructed the Public Safety Committee to conduct a thorough assessment into all the factors of the rising rates of rural crime in Canada so that action could be taken expeditiously to address and combat this public safety emergency. The House of Commons passed this motion unanimously with 287 yes votes and 0 no votes on May 30th, 2018. So clearly this motion has the strong support from this whole House and from rural Canadians who are increasingly concerned about their personal safety. The final line of motion 167 reads, quote, that the committee report its findings to the House within 6 months of the adoption of this motion. And sadly, I rise today because 6 months from the adoption of motion 167 would have been November 30th, 2018. So it's now 5 months past the deadline. The committee, from what I understand, considered a draft report on December 4th, 2018. And according to the committee's minutes, the next meeting to consider a draft report was March 20th. No report was approved at that time. The committee did approve their agenda for the next several weeks on Monday, April 29th, with no mention of motion 167. And in Chapter 20 of the House of Commons Procedure and Practice, 3rd edition, 2017, under the heading of Procedural Framework for Committees' Activities, it states, quote, committees are free to organize their proceedings as they see fit, provided that their studies and the motions and reports they adopt comply with the orders of reference and instructions issued by this House. Second, committees may adopt procedural rules to govern their proceedings, but only to the extent the House does not prescribe anything specific. At all times, directives from procedural sources higher than parliamentary committees, that is the Constitution, statutes, orders of reference, and instructions of the House, standing orders of the House of Commons, and rulings by the Speaker, take precedence over any rules a committee may adopt, end quote. So I would just submit that the House did direct the committee to conduct that assessment within 6 months. It hasn't happened, in which that they've provided that report within that timeline. And this order originating from the House takes precedence over the other matters before the committee. The committee has conducted 17 meetings that happened between December 4th and April 5th, 11 of those meetings being the committee's current study on cybersecurity. So I just mentioned this to highlight that the committee has not been focused on items such as legislation that traditionally could take precedence for committee consideration. And only the last 2 meetings have dealt with Bill C-93. Just further in Chapter 20th, under the heading of studies conducted by committees, subject matter studies, it states, quote, from time to time the House refers to its committees the consideration of specific matters for more in-depth study. These orders of reference may include an obligation to report and the imposition of time limits within which the committees must complete the study or report. So I would submit that the House providing a 6-month deadline for the committee to report is a limit established by this House, and that this committee has failed to uphold the instruction of this House. And I just will close now by quickly noting 17 MPs did jointly second this motion. Over 200 towns, municipalities, and communities endorsed this motion, including thousands of Canadians across at least 7 provinces. Statistics Canada reported last week that the rural crime rate was 23% higher than in urban Canada, and this remains a growing epidemic and crisis for rural families, businesses, and communities across the country. So therefore, I would request your consideration as Speaker to consider following up with this committee, and I hope that you will undertake to ensure that the very clear instruction of this House through motion 167 is carried out by this committee as soon as possible. Thank you.